Well, there are different areas of regulatory compliance you need to focus on. Let's start with regulatory compliance. Look, the government has spent a lot of time written a lot of laws. There are state compliances. Every state's starting to write their own rules. And there's still the federal rules too. So if you're in the finance industry, there are federal rules like Sarbanes-Oxley and FINRA. A lot of states, like the state of Ohio. The state of Ohio realizes that businesses are really at risk today. So they've written a Safe Harbor Act. And it's called the Ohio Safe Harbor Act. If you're performing the compliances that you're supposed to adhere to, they'll guarantee that if you can prove that you did those, that you're immune from being sued in Ohio. Now, those rules do vary from state to state, and so every business has to ensure that they're compliant with their local state regulations. But overall, the federal government has federal laws on HIPAA for healthcare, your information, protecting it. The federal government has rules about PII, personal identity information, because identity theft is rampant. You just have to turn the news on any night, and you'll see ads about identity theft and what you can do to lock your credit and lock your identity and lock your deeds so somebody can't steal your house. It's real. It really does happen. But there are also local laws, and regulatory compliance is huge. You need to follow those. If you are in an industry and you're providing any type of service to the Department of Defense, or you're providing product or services to a company that does provide services or product to the Department of Defense, you now have to comply with what's called CMMC. Everybody loves these acronyms. It's something like Contract and Maturity Model Compliance. I think I got it right. But those compliances are huge. In fact, almost all compliances today are now built on something called NIST. The federal government came up with this policy, this framework called NIST. It stands for National Institute of Standards and Technology, and it really lays out 5 core areas of what it takes to be compliant, and they have controls for each of those areas. And currently, there are 123 controls in NIST, and NIST is now being used by cybersecurity insurance companies to provide insurance. They may not ask all 123 controls, but that's why that page has grown from 2 to 3 pages to being 20 or more pages.